Hi everyone, it's Mrs McInnes here. Welcome to lesson 3 of our trigonometry part 2 topic. So today we're going to begin looking at the first of the two rules that we're going to use in this topic, which are the sine rule and the cosine rule. So previously, when we have been looking at finding a side or an angle within a triangle, we've been using right angled triangles and we've been using SOHCAHTOA. Now SOHCAHTOA only works with a right angled triangle, so what we're now looking at within this trig topic is looking at scalene triangles. So the first rule we're going to look at is your sine rule formula, and we're going to look at this rule for finding a side and finding an angle, and then we'll do the same process with the cosine rule. And really which rule you will use will depend on which information you've been given in the question, and I'll talk to you more about that as we go through the examples for each rule, how you would know which rule you would be using. So the good thing about this part of the topic is that we get these formulas on the formula sheet, so you don't have to know this off by heart. Obviously, if you do, it will just make things a wee bit quicker for you when you're completing your work. So the formula for sine rule is A over sine A equals B over sine B equals C over sine C. Now, what I would be hoping that you would be noticing here is that the way that that formula is laid out is the same way that I had laid out the formulas for calculating arcs, sectors and angles when we did the arcs and sectors topic. So the working for this will already be familiar to you. You'll already know how to work through the process when you have your two fractions. It's very, very similar. So let's go ahead and do some examples of this. So example 4, we have find the size of the side that's labelled A. So the first thing you need to do in any question in the trig topic is label your sides and your angles if there are not already letters on the diagram. So we have a small letter A already, so I'm going to start off by labelling the corner opposite as a capital A, and then I'm just going to go ahead and label the other two sides as B and C as well. Just A, B and C is fine to use. So we're going to start off writing out the formula, and this is very similar to when I was getting you to the working for arcs and sectors. I was getting you to write out the formula, and then we were narrowing this down to two sections based on what information we had. It's the same principle here. So let's look at what information we've got on the picture here. Well, we're being asked to find side A, and we have the angle at capital A. So we have both parts of A, so let's go ahead and highlight that one. We then also have the length of side B and the angle at B, so we can go ahead and highlight that one. So actually what that means is we can get rid of part C, we don't need that part. And this is the same idea as when we had our arcs and sectors topic. There was always one section of the formula that we didn't need to use. So if we go ahead and use A over sine A equals B over sine B, if we fill in what values we have, so we have A over sine of 35 is equal to 12 for B over sine 78 for capital B. From here, the working again is the same as what we do for arcs and sectors. We're going to cross multiply and solve for the unknown value. So we'll always start with the unknown value first of all when we do this. So A times sine 78 equals, and then multiply the other way. So sine 35 times 12. We're then trying to get A by itself. So because A has been multiplied by sine 78, we're going to go ahead and divide by sine 78. So sine 35 times 12 over sine 78. So when you're putting this into your calculator, make sure you're using that fraction button. It looks like that, and your angles should be closed off into brackets. Sometimes the calculators don't process that correctly if the brackets around the angles aren't closed off, so make sure that you do this tidy. So if we type that into your calculator, you're going to get an answer of 7, and the units here were meters. And that's that question complete. That's it. So let's go ahead and do a second example of this. So here again, we have find the size of the side labelled B. So again, first thing we need to do is label our triangle. So because there's already a B on the picture, I'm going to make the opposite corner capital B, and then I'm just going to make the other two sides A and C. So I've got A, B and C. So again, let's write down the formula. So A over sine A equals B over sine B equals C over sine C. So let's go ahead and see what information we have on the picture. Well, we're being asked to find side B, so we need to highlight that. but we don't have the angle at B. So that's something that we'll need to fill in before we can go ahead and do our calculation. So let's do that first. Let's write that out. So we would do 180 minus the two angles that we have there. So minus 38 and minus 85. It's going to leave you with 57 degrees. So if you need to fill in the angle that matches up with the side that you're trying to find, you might need to do that first. So we can now highlight that part. We then need another side and angle that correspond with each other. So the ones that we have, it would be the side C with the 24 and the angle at C with the 85, okay? We do have the angle at A, but we don't need that because we don't have the side that goes with that. So there's always going to be one part that you don't need, so we can get rid of that. So for side B, we're just going to write a B, and then we have over sine 57, that's the angle at B. And then side C, we have 24, and then sine of the angle at C is 85, so 85 goes in there. We're then going to cross multiply, so B times sine 85 is equal to sine 57 times 24. And then we're going to divide by sine 85 because that's been multiplied there. So we're going to get sine 57 times 24 over sine 85. Okay, remember, use that fraction button on the calculator, looks like that. And remember, put these angles into brackets so that the calculator will process it correctly. So when you pop that in, you're going to get an answer of 20.2 meters. Okay, so sometimes with these questions, you might need to fill in that third angle first of all. You're always looking for a side and an angle pair and another side and an angle pair. Okay, we are looking for two pairs so that we can have two sections of the formula. So if you need to fill in that third angle to have the pair of values that you need, then you need to do that first before you can do the calculation. So the questions I've picked out for you to do today are as follows. From page 29, I want you to do question 1, A, B, C and D. So they will all be like the first example I did, where you just have the information that you need and we're just practicing using that sine rule. For question 2, I've chosen I, J and K. You need to be careful with those, and you will need to fill in that missing angle first of all so that you have the angle and pair side that make a pair. Okay, so just make sure you're careful when you're looking at question 2 there. Any problems, go on the Teams page and ask for help. And as usual, can you please mark your work from the back of the book and email me a picture of it so I can just see how we're doing as we go through with the topic, and I can make sure that we're following everything okay. If we need more time, I can give us more time on anything that we need. Okay, thanks very much guys for listening, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.